Brooklyn Independent Television.
Christina Massey is a multimedia artist and painter who innovatively deconstructs her previous paintings. The result? Visually stunning repurposed installations that will have you doing a double take.
My name is Christina Massey. I'm a painter and installation artist. I use painting in all of my work, so even the large installations are composed from paintings. My mother always encouraged us, my sister and my brother and I, in the arts, and whenever it was playtime, I would be taking up the crayons and drawing, and it became no surprise that that was my focus. Absolutely fell in love with Brooklyn, and what drew me to Prospect Heights specifically was that diversity of not only the people, but the proximity to so many of the city's cultural icons. Like, I love being next to the Brooklyn Museum, Botanical Gardens, and Prospect Park. The neighborhood has really been changing with a lot more restaurants and shops opening up, and it's exciting to kind of see people getting involved with the community. I've always been actually really inspired by fiber art. I just love the tactile quality of even craft art. Has really been an inspiration for me. I just have this something inside me that makes me still need to paint, and a lot of my process is kind of taking the paint away from the painting and making it into something that's more of a textile and much more tactile. I am constantly reusing the material in ways that aren't typical, knotting it, weaving it, sewing it together. Behind me, this is all woven pieces. It's called Come Undone, based off of a series of work that I've done of weaving pieces together that were all labeled after different neighborhoods within Brooklyn. I chose Brooklyn because it is such an artistic hub, and it's interesting to see how the different neighborhoods support various arts. And this was kind of like a literal undoing of the painting, because those pieces are onto paper, as well as questioning kind of how the arts play into a community and how it changes a community. The Meat Market series was first created in 2007. It was really the start of my reusing past canvases. I was kind of forced in a way to start to have to think, what am I going to do with all this work that I've been piling up over the years? And I hadn't been showing it that much. I still really enjoyed the canvases, and always was a little bit in this love-hate relationship with the art world, and found it really ironic that Chelsea was the old meatpacking district. And so I began this idea of, I'm going to so-called butcher my paintings, and started cutting them up, tearing them up, and kind of weaving them together into these three-dimensional forms that themselves are still abstract, but when they hang together and on the hooks, they really take on that form of a carcass. And in a gallery setting, it's a little bit of that. They hang, right in your face. They're right at life size, and it's a little bit of a talk on how the gallery opening scene is sometimes a little bit more of a meat market than it is about the art. And then for people who aren't so involved with the art world, it became more of a literal sense of this is a meat market, and took on a more vegetarian political aspect. Well, I always kind of try and pick a general political topic. Every series has a political base that can reach your general audience, and then it has this kind of relation to my smaller world of the art world. Instead of just focusing on one issue, say vegetarianism, just like anyone, my art has a lot of opinions, just like I do. So when I'm creating the woven pieces, I start with a lot of cut up pieces of canvas and paper of various sizes. Sometimes I end up taking the whole piece apart again and redoing it. And sometimes it ends up being attached to the page or hanging freely from the ceiling. And what happens as you weave them is that as a form it becomes stronger, which is part of the political aspect of the work, the concept of together we're stronger than apart. So now I'll show you how I get these scraps of canvas and how the first stages of the pieces begin. This is a piece that is going to come off of its stretcher now, and I'll start the process of cutting it into pieces. There's no need to be real gentle with it. This was created in 2005. It was part of a series that I called Dead Paintings, and it was a bit of a mark on the rhetoric that painting was dead and had this kind of wrinkled texture to them. And that series has ended up ironically kind of dying in a sense and being reused and repurposed into my other work. And for this piece, I'm primarily using scissors because of the stitched nature. Sometimes it feels good to deconstruct in the rebuilding process. I like this canvas, and I think it's going to shine better in a different form. Thank you for joining me at my studio today here in Prospect Heights. I look forward to meeting some of you, and you can see more of my work at www.cmasseyart.com.
Become a fan on Facebook, like Brooklyn Independent Television.